Hi everybody, I'm Debbie Bells with Feel Good Qigong, and this will be a yoga practice. Have a chair nearby in case you need some extra support, and also have, it'd be nice to have a little pillow also for some of our squatting that we're going to do today. So let's start with a rotation. We'll start with feet's always nice to start, and the knees, go the other direction, just to start warming up our body before we come into this practice of yoga. We'll do a little bit of Qigong, but not much. This will be mostly a yoga practice. We'll do a big rotation, or you could keep a small rotation of your hips. Again, starting to warm up our joints. It's important to get the joints warmed up before we go into the bigger muscles. And then, well, let's take our strap. Have a strap, or you can also use if you don't have a strap, you can use a belt. You can also use a scarf. But to do our upper body, you're going to bring the strap over your head, and then you bring it behind you. So you're just going to bring it forward and back. As long as that feels okay in the rotation of your shoulder. If it doesn't, then do this without the strap, or just go from here to here. So again, depending on your how your shoulders are feeling today and how much rotation you have will determine how you want to use these straps. But straps are really nice. Let's go from one side to the other. Straps are really nice to, again, open up the joints. And now let's do a big rotation with the strap too. So here we have a rotation of the entire upper body here. Nice way to, again, get to the joints and go to the other direction. So straps are really nice to have. Leave them out in your house. Maybe leave them on a counter just to remind you to do some of these, especially with shoulder stuff. This always feels good on the shoulders. And then you can have one strap up, one strap down. And then we'll do the other side. One strap up, one strap down. And then let's see, let's do, we'll take the strap down, like you're hugging yourself first. You're hugging yourself, and then you'll bring one arm up, the top arm comes up, and then you're gonna cross over to the other hand. So it looks like this from the side. And then we're gonna lift the arms up as you drop the shoulder blades down. So you feel this really strongly in the backs of the shoulder blades. It's a nice stretch for the backs of the shoulder blades. And then lift the shoulder blades up and drop the shoulder blades down. Then bring the arms over to your left, and you can bring your head to the right, and then back to center, and then bring the arms over to the right as you bring your head over to the left. And then back to center. Then move the arms away from your body and drop your chin to your chest as you open up the back of your neck. And then release and shake it out. And then we'll do the other side. So switch arms, give yourself a hug. Whatever arm is on top, you'll lift that arm up, and then you wrap the other arm around. If you can't do that, this is where that strap would come in handy. So you would hold on to the strap if you couldn't bring your hands together. So that's what's nice about the strap. And then same thing, I'm gonna lift the arms up, drop the shoulder blades down, lift the arms up, drop the shoulder blades down, then bringing the arms over to your left, your head comes to the right, and then back to center, arms come over to the right, head comes to the left, and then release. Move the arms away from you so you'll feel that stretch deep in the back of the shoulder blades. Drop your chin forward, opening up the back a little bit deeper. And then release the arms. And then we're going to take our strap again. We're going to do another stretch for the shoulders. What you're going to do is wrap the strap so it's fairly close. You can also, if you don't need the strap, you can interlace the fingers if you want to do it this way also. But it's nice to have that strap for a little extra support. Then you soften the knees and you start to release the arms and you bring them over the head. Shake out the head and the neck. And then slowly come up, one vertebrae at a time. So that feels really nice. And again, you don't need the strap. If you can interlace the fingers, you can do it without the strap. And then you come forward also. Same thing. Sometimes we can't, we need that extra inches with the strap. And then let's start to shake out. Let's start shaking out our day, letting some stress go. Again, warming up the joints. Maybe jump up and down on the feet, on the heels especially, getting some extra circulation. If you haven't moved too much today, this is a great way to get quick circulation to your joints again. It also helps to pump your fluids, especially the lymph fluids, and it warms up the body and it releases some stress. So if you need to, you can inhale and it out. You do that a couple of times to release some of the day. If you've had a really intense day, this is a nice way to let go. Inhaling and keep shaking. And then stop, and hopefully you feel a little bit of tingling happening in the body. You've got some good circulation going. And let's take our fingers, we're going to interlace them and rotate the wrists. Bringing the fingers back, you're going to pull the fingers back with the other hand, opening up the wrist. You should feel this in the arm, maybe right into the shoulder. And then we'll do the other one. And then release. You're going to bend your knees, bring your hands on your thigh, drop your head forward. You can also bring your elbows to your thighs and drop your head forward and shake it out. And then bring your hands back onto your thighs. You're going to look up as you arch the back into a dog tilt. And as you exhale, you're going to round into your cat tilt. So we're just going to move the spine forward and back. Again, warming up the body, going back and forth in these two movements. And now come into a wide angle forward fold and just hang here again. Shake out the arms, release the head and the neck, the shoulders. Let everything go. And then if you want, bending one knee at a time, start to warm up your hips and your inner thigh, the inner leg. So just take your time with this opening. Feel the stretch. Feel the body warming up. Starting to release some of the muscle tension in the legs and the hips. And then come forward. And then you're going to walk your hands forward. Your hips come forward a little bit. Now release the hips, push the sit bones back. And align your spine with your arms. Your head and neck should be even with the arms. You'll get a really nice stretch here in the back of the shoulders again and in the entire spine. And then walk the hands back and then slowly come up, stacking each vertebrae on top of each other as you slowly come back up to standing. And then let's bring the legs together. So we're going to work on opening the entire back body from the toes all the way up to the crown of the head. But let's warm up again here. We're going to make a big crossover and then you bend the knees. So you bend the knees, you bring the arms, you cross them over. So we're warming up the upper body, we're warming up the lower body, we're warming up our back and getting ready for a full back body stretch. So this is really nice way to stretch and get warm up for this full forward fold. You never want to do a forward fold when you're tight, especially for your low back. So you don't want to pull anything if it's too tight, and then you're doing this forward fold. And then we're going to cross over. You're going to scrub your ribs, bring your hands to your low back, and you're looking up, creating an opening first in the front of the body. As you slowly start to slide the hands down. Now, take your time with this. You can do it with bent knees if you need to, or you can come all the way into your forward fold. You don't have to get the hands to the floor. You can use blocks, which would be helpful, or keep the knee soft and bring your torso towards your legs. You're opening up the back body from your toes, right through the back of the legs, over the glutes, through the low back, through the neck, and through the head. Take a couple of breaths here. You can shake out the upper body again. Just cascading forward. And then again, slowly come up. And you want to keep stacking each vertebrae on top of each other, then interlace the fingers and then bring them all the way up. And there's a little bit of a back bend here. So you're bringing your spine in the opposite direction of that forward fold. And then we'll release and we'll come forward. So now we're going to come into our lunges and our warriors. You can use a chair if you like or not, but we're going to start with what's called mountain. So you want to align your body, lift your shoulder blades up, slide them back, slide the shoulder blades down to your waist. So you've got a nice opening here. Bring your hands into your thighs and press your hands into your thighs into your hands. This will engage your lower body and lengthen your torso. And now from here, now we're going to start to come forward. So you're pressing your hands into your thigh. So the legs are active, your abdominals are active, and just come halfway forward. Before you go any further, you're going to lengthen through the sit bone and you lengthen through the crown of the head. So you've got this really nice stretch in the spine first. We're going to come back into that forward fold again as you come all the way forward. You're going to soften the knees, and we're going to take our left leg back into our first high lunge. So we're stretching. You can take the inside of your right arm, and you're going to press it into the outside edge of your right knee for some support and stability. Now you can use blocks here if you need to lengthen it. You want to make sure your knee is not going past your toes. And you're stretching through this back heel. And then you can start to release the back foot, getting the heel on the floor, stretching the front foot, keeping that foot flat on the floor first to stretch the front of the leg, the shin, and the hamstring. Then you come back again. And now this time we're going to come onto our heel and stretch a little bit deeper in the back of the hamstring. So you just kind of go between both of these two movements, lengthening the back leg out. Now drop that back knee to the floor, and then you release that back foot, and you're going to press on top of that foot to protect this knee that's bent. And we do the same thing here. We're going to take the hips back, straighten the front leg, and then bending it. And then coming onto the heel as you stretch the back of the leg. If you want, you can do like a little shimmy with the hips back and forth. This is a little bit of a deeper stretch in the hip joint. And then we come back to the low lunge. Now you're going to take your right hand on your right knee and we're going to twist over to our right. Now walk this right foot all the way to the edge of the mat. You're going to press your hand in the inside of the knee and pump this just a little bit to get an opening here in the right hip. That's where you're going to feel this in that right hip. Now from here, we'll transition right into our pigeon. You can come onto the fingertips to start. There's a little bit of a back bend here, and then we start to come forward into your forward fold. And let this right hip just release, but try not to roll over on the hip because you'll lose the deep stretch that you want to get from pigeon. You might be able to bring your forehead all the way to the floor. You can bring them on your hands and allow that hip to begin to release and lengthen. And then from here, we're going to place our palms of our hands right under our shoulders. You're going to curl the toes under of the back foot, which would be your left foot, and then transition and take that right leg back into your plank. The whole body's engaged here. So charge your legs, charge your glutes, your abdominals. Then drop your knees, and you're going to bring your hips back towards your heels. And then you're going to come and sit back on the heels to open up the thighs. Now, if you want, you can lean back and get a deeper stretch in the thighs. And then back to center. We're going to come to our hands and knees. Hips are hip width apart. Shoulders, wrists right over the shoulders. Separate the knees away from each other like you're separating the mat between your knees to broaden your low back. Now you can arch into dog tilt and then exhale round into your cat tilt. And then again, inhaling and exhaling. And now from here, bring the hips back, coming into child, bringing the arms straight out in front of you. If you want, you can release your forehead to the floor if that feels good. If it doesn't, you can make a little pillow with your arms and rest your forehead on the arms. Sometimes it's more comfortable to have the knees slightly separated so your belly can just relax. So depending on what feels good to you. And then having the arms straight out in front of you if you haven't, if they're not there. And then you're looking up just a little bit. And then we start to come back to hands and knees, but we're going to keep moving forward, keep moving the hips forward. And this takes you into very high cobra. And then lower your torso to the floor. Hands are going to stay right under your shoulders. Charge the legs, forehead on the floor. And then we inhale, we lift the legs up, we lift the torso up, and then release. Inhaling up and release. Inhaling up and release. One more time, inhaling up. All the weight's on your pubic bone. Keep your head even with your neck and release. And then lift yourself up like you're coming back to hands and knees, but we're going to curl our toes under and we're coming into downward facing dog. Lift the sit bones up, move the hips back. If you have a pillow, you can bring your heels on top of that pillow for a little bit of a lift. You're stretching through the spine and through the legs. And now we're going to walk our hands to our feet, and then you come right into a squat. I like to use a little pillow for a little bit of a lift in my heels. You don't have to, but I need it. And then you can take your elbows and just press in the inner knees for a little bit more of a stretch in your hip joints. And then release your hands to the floor. And then we come to a forward fold once again. Soften the knees and then slowly work your way back up to standing, stacking each vertebrae on top of each other. Find your alignment. And then we're going to take our left foot forward. We're going to come into warrior one. So align your legs. So this left knee, I'm going to make sure I can still see my toes, that the knee's right under my ankle. And my back heel is kicked out a little bit so I can make this full rotation of my hips coming over my front leg, warrior one. And you're going to engage your abdominals, root down through the legs, then lift the arms up towards the ceiling or cactus arms, whatever feels better on your shoulders. And we are now in warrior one. Charge the legs, charge your abdominals, lengthen up through the crown of the head. And now we're going to open this up a little bit. We lean back. As you lean back, you could straighten that front knee out a little bit. And then we do a big circle with the arms. So you bring the arms forward, lean back a little bit. So we're working on moving this warrior one, keeping your stability, keeping your legs firmly into the earth and strong. Now, right from here, we're going to cartwheel the left arm back, the right arm, the right arm comes back, the left arm is forward, and now this heel that we had kicked out, bring it in, and the hips now are centered, and we are right in our warrior two. We're going to open warrior two by coming into side warrior, and then we come into exalted warrior, and you just go back and forth. Now, if you want, you can cartwheel the arms, making big circle with the arms going between side warrior and exalted warrior. So we open up these warriors a little bit for some movement rather than just keeping it still. But the legs are holding you and supporting you so your upper body can do these movements. Now from here, you're taking your right arm and you start to bring it forward. That back heel, we're kicking it and we're coming into a warrior one. Back to warrior one again. We're going to come into warrior three. We start to lean forward. Now you can, if you have a chair or the wall, this is where you can bring your hands on the wall or on the chair or on the floor, and your right leg is kicked up. We're going to open this a little bit by bringing the knee into the chest and releasing it out. So sometimes I like to use a chair to do this. It just gives me a little bit more length for my legs. And then release your right foot to your left foot, back into a forward fold again, softening in the knees as we work our way all the way back up to standing. And we'll do the other side. I'm just going to switch sides so you can see it on this side. So we'll start with our mountain. Let the shoulders rest towards the back of your body, hands on your thighs, tuck your tail, press in the thighs with your hands, hands into the thighs, thighs into the hands, activate your abdominals and your legs. And then we start to press the thighs in with the hands as you come into flat back. So stay in your flat back first to get that lengthening through the sit bone and through the crown of your head. Now you can start to slide the torso forward, cascading forward into your forward fold. Soften the knees, and then taking your right foot back, your left knee is bent in your high lunge. And again, make sure that this knee is even with the ankle. You're pressing down on the ankle, on the heel to protect that knee. The back foot is stretched through the heel. And then you work your way going forward and back with straightening the knee and bending it. Opening up the legs, opening up the hips. And then we'll release that back heel onto the floor, press on top of that foot, again to protect that knee. And then we do the same thing in our low lunge, back and forth. We're going to come into a twist. So you're going to bring your left hand on your left knee and you twist over to your left, or spinal twist. Now start to move this left foot out to the outside of the edge of the mat. You press this left hand in your side of the knee and you pump it a little bit to get an opening in this hip joint. And then from here, we'll switch our leg for pigeon, bringing the knee forward, coming onto your fingertips, opening up the front of your body, Charge your back leg by pressing on top of the foot, and then bring yourself forward into your full pigeon. Try not to roll over onto your left hip. You want to release the left hip to the floor. Sometimes a block under the hip feels nice for support. You can either make a little pillow with your hands and bring your forehead to the hands, to the arms, or come all the way to the floor with your forehead. Breathe into the back of your spine, the forward fold. Lengthening the whole back body again. Then to come out of this, bring the palms of the hands right alongside the knee. Shoulders and wrist are even with each other. You curl the toes under of the back foot, lift that back knee off the floor, engage your abdominals, and then you transition into plank. The whole body's engaged here. Then drop your knees, and we start to lean back, sitting back on our heels, as long as that's comfortable for you. Opening up the thighs, the knees, and then you could, if you want to go deeper, then you would just lean back to open up the thighs a little bit more. And then back to center. We're coming to hands and knees for cat dog. So again, wrist under shoulders, press your knees are hip width apart. Press the knees away from each other like you're spreading the mat between your knees to broaden your low back. Arch the back, round the back, as you go back and forth in these two movements, getting a really nice opening for the spine. Then we're going to sit back again into our child. You can have, again, make a pillow with the arms resting your forehead on the arms. Some of you might be able to bring your forehead to the floor. That might feel good, with the arms to your side. Or you can have your arms in front of you, whatever feels good for child. It's nice to have the knees separated a little bit to let your belly relax. And then bring the arms straight out in front of you. And now we start to come forward with the hips, like we're coming back to hands and knees, but we're taking the hips all the way forward into a high cobra. And then release your torso to the floor. Forehead's on the floor, shoulders right under your wrists, right under your shoulders. Engage your legs, and then inhale up. You're pressing down on the pubic bone. Head is even with your neck, because you don't want to cock your head back. Leave it even with the neck, and then release down. And then inhaling up and release down. One more time. Inhale up and release down. Then push up back to hands and knees, curl the toes under, and come into downward facing dog. Walk your hands to your feet, and then you can come into a squat using some support or not, depending on what you need for your squat. And you can use your elbows to press in the inner thighs to help open up the hips a little bit more. And then release your hands to the floor, and we transition back into a forward fold. Hang here. And then slowly curl up, stacking each vertebrae on top of each other as you come all the way back up to standing. And just notice how you're feeling. We're going to come into our warriors now. So we will take our right foot forward, and your back heel will be kicked out a little bit, knees even with your ankle, and then you rotate the hips over your front leg. So really root down through the legs, Lengthen up from the base of the spine through the crown of your head. Arms come out over and above the head. And then we're going to open up a little bit. Once you find your stability with your legs, then you can open up this posture, opening up the arms and the shoulders and the spine, as long as you feel rooted and grounded in the legs. If you're feeling a little wobbly today, then just stay in the warrior one. You don't need to move it. This is just as good. So depending on what you're feeling today. And now from here, we transition right into warrior two. So for that back heel that was kicked out, bring it in, and now the hips are centered of your body. Watch that knee, that front knee. Arms come out to the side, warrior two. We look over that arm in front of us. And then we go into side warrior. We go into exalted warrior. So we're opening up the warriors. We're opening it up with an upper body movement along with strengthening of the legs. And now we'll transition into warrior three. So that back arm comes forward. You're going to come onto the toes of the back foot, engaging the legs and the abdominals back into your warrior one. We start to lean forward, releasing the hands to the floor as we lift the leg up. And then if you want, you can kick the knee in and out, strengthening the leg muscles. You could also use a chair if you need a little bit of extra support. So we're opening up warrior one. And then release that foot back to your other one, flat back again. Come into full forward fold one more time. Slowly come up, stacking each vertebrae on top of each other as we come all the way back up to standing. And this time, let's reach the arms all the way up onto the toes, stretch everything out, and then release down. One more time, stretch everything out to the side. We're stretching our fascia, and then release. One more time, stretching out and release. Notice how you feel. Let's do a little rotation. Hopefully our back doesn't hurt from all the forward folds. And this time, let's just go from side to side. Loose from side to side. Releasing any tightness or gripping. And then to center. And then let's come onto our backs